Elliott still has 2 years left on his rookie deal, but according to reports, Cowboys All-Pro running back is planning on holding out, and contract talks could go sideways if progress isn't made on a new deal. What do you think, Chris Carter? Should Zeke hold out?
If Zeke wants a new contract, he shouldn't hold out, but he should let the team know I'm coming to training camp, I'm going to participate. But if I don't get a contract or not comfortable where we are week number 1, I won't be on the field. And I believe that the Dallas Cowboys, that's a threat that they would take serious.
Do you think he could do that and make the arrangement with the coaching staff that he's not going to play in the preseason games? Obviously, you could right before each preseason game say, my hamstring. But do you think they could work out the agreement?
No, you're better off with an arrangement so the team can prepare, because that guy's second team, third team guy, they're going to be getting more reps. And I think if you come to the coaching staff, they'll respect that more than you being at home and them like,
miss
what's
all
happening?
Training,
and you're not in communication with them on a daily basis.
All right, moving on to Tiger Woods now. The 43-year-old is still recovering from his Masters performance back in April, saying, quote, "The wind took a lot out of me." See, is Tiger in good shape heading into the Open Championship tomorrow?
I don't think so. Golf is a game about repetition. He hadn't played in enough tournaments. He's told us that his schedule will be abbreviated, but typically he gets more work. Now, the major tournaments, they've changed the schedule. So now he can't necessarily get those 2 or 3 tournaments that he would get in before playing in those summer majors. If he wants to be able to win more majors, which is his only goal, he's going to have to be able to figure out that schedule. But he hadn't been able to practice as much because there's some complications as far as his back since the Masters.
This puts me in a rough spot, Jenna. Jenna, who do I pick for every major?
Tiger Woods.
It doesn't even seem like Tiger's going to pick himself this week. And yet you're going to ask me tomorrow who I'm picking for the British. Listen, Tiger, if he never does anything after winning that Masters, it was still one of the greatest comeback stories in the history of golf. But he obviously believes he and wants to win 3 more to officially pass Jack, or to officially tie Jack with 3 more, 4 more to pass him. It doesn't seem like he's that bullish on his prospects this weekend.
I used to work with a guy, Mike Greenberg. He's a huge Tiger fan. Mike Greenberg, he's smart, though. If Tiger was saying this, he'd pick somebody else.
Well, we have to wait for tomorrow. I haven't given
So the guy who thinks he's the smartest guy I ever worked with.
Oh, I love Greeny, but he ain't as smart as me. I mean, come on, Northwestern, give me a break. Give me a break.
The NBA now. You can't talk about the best teams in the East without talking about the Sixers. But Charles Barkley has some pretty blunt advice for Joel Embiid and for Ben Simmons, saying, quote, "Embiid has got to get his fat butt in shape, and Ben Simmons has got to work on his game." Nick, whose development is more important to the team's long-term success? Would it be Embiid or Simmons?
For the process to be considered a success, they both have to develop. Now, Embiid, I would argue, is much further along in his development. We've seen Embiid play for stretches as an MVP candidate. Ben Simmons, we've seen for the entirety of his career, one glaring, gaping hole. Now, I think Simmons came into the league more well-rounded than Embiid. I think Simmons, his first game in the NBA was better than Embiid was his first game, but Simmons has stayed totally stagnant, and Embiid's grown his game. But it's very different things we're looking for, these two guys. There isn't a part of Joel Embiid's game, aside from we'd like him to be a little more consistent from 3, but he's 7'2", so that would just be a bonus, that you really are worried about. It's why during the conference semifinals was he seemingly a game-time decision every game. He got a stomach bug, and then you're worried about his body. Like, it's health, fitness, nutrition, overall wellness, and body weight. With Simmons, it's will he continue to be the least competent shooter in the entire NBA? So these are 2 very different things. For me, Joel Embiid's is, in theory, simple, but it is something athletes, non-athletes, just humans across the spectrum struggle with, which is, how do I stay at my ideal body weight, even if it's a huge part of what I do for a living? For Ben Simmons, it's, how do I take something that I've never been able to do that is incredibly critical, the only thing that matters to me, taking the next step in my career, and put in the work, and I think deal with the embarrassment of the work, which I think is a big part of this, to get to that next level. I'll say this, if the way they lost last year isn't motivating for each of them, then nothing will be. Embiid was crying. Ben Simmons, if he's better in that series, they beat Toronto. And maybe they think they're the champions, and the process is a resounding success. So for both these guys, there's plenty of motivation, and we'll see starting next season if it resonates for them.
They both have to know it's a problem. Ben Simmons has to acknowledge that my shooting is holding this team back. Joel Embiid has to acknowledge that if I don't get in better shape and stay healthy and lose some weight, I'm going to continue to miss games because of it. That's the first thing they have to do, and I think you said it really brilliantly before. People can talk to them up and down until they realize that they've got to improve as people, as humans, as athletes. They're never going to do it.
Yeah, the best ideas people have are the ones they come up with, or at least they think so. Because your kids, you ask them, you tell them something, like, oh, no. Then they come up with it and like, oh, yeah, they have the energy to be able to do it. So for me, if it's going to stick with you, it has to be personal. It has to be internal. And that's the part where I believe that Joel Embiid, it's a lot easier to gain control of your fitness, to get himself at the proper weight. And I like that Charles Barkley, what Charles said, because I know Charles's career. Charles got cut by the Olympic team by Bobby Knight. Why? Because he was overweight in his personality. And then eventually he talked about Moses Malone, but that was later in his career where Charles got the fitness part. You look at Charles Barkley on the Dream Team. You look at those videos and you watch look how fit he is, how much he can raise off the ground and everything. Man, that's what Zion will look like at his best. But Charles is on to it. The fitness is a huge component. It's a lot easier than developing a jump shot. But for me, Ben Simmons, we talk about his shooting or inability to shoot or reluctance to shoot away from 10 feet because he's getting closer. Year number 1, 78% from 10 feet. Last year, 89%, 10 feet or closer. But to me, the problem is bigger. And to me, it's an attitude problem because I wouldn't have a problem with Ben Simmons if he was just a bull in a china shop. I'm going to play bully ball. I'm just going to play aggressive like I did that time, the night I dropped 31 on Brooklyn.
Right after Jared
Dudley. To me,
Dudley
it's an attitude. He doesn't take the court and doesn't play like a guy that doesn't have a jump shot. Where I got to get to the paint. I'm going to use my size, force over everyone on a regular night. Play like Draymond Green. He don't play like that. He plays laid back and everything. So for me, that's the bigger problem than the jump shot because he can survive without a jump shot. He's an all-star. But can you continue, be on the court, be one of the best athletes, and not know that?
You said Draymond Green. How about this? What about play like early Derrick Rose? Derrick Rose, damn near a foot shorter than Ben Simmons, at least 8 inches shorter. And an explosive athlete, but going 100 miles an hour at all times. He didn't have no jump shot. Now, he didn't shoot 0 threes, but he was not a reliable jump shooter. Won an MVP playing that way, and he was more explosive than Simmons, but Simmons can make up for that with length and height. Right now, Ben Simmons, when he came into the league, was the consensus #1 pick. And then he misses the year with the redshirt year with the injury. And then his rookie season, his stats are, as I like to say, damn near 1 of 1 in NBA history for rookies. And people such as myself said, wow, what is this guy going to be when he learns to shoot?
Didn't LeBron James call him like the baby king?
A young prince.
Young prince.
Like, listen, there was, and I don't know if this is what beget what here, but there are now all of a sudden a lot of questions about Simmons. His motor during the game. How much of the celebrity lifestyle does he indulge in, and how much is that more motivating than the actual game? And how much does he want to work on the things he's not good at? Because between his first and second year in the league, he didn't. Or at least there was no discernible evidence that he did. He just got paid as if he will. Now we'll see if he will.
One of the things that in talking to my peers, that they used to always give me credit. And they say, Chris, man, you'll do the ugly stuff. You'll do the stuff that people don't like to do. You'll do the training. You'll do the film study. You'll go across the middle. You'll block. You'll do those things. See, Ben Simmons, I don't care what LeBron says, young prince, because if you don't develop a jump shot, you're just a toad, bruh. You're a 6'10" toad. It might look good and everything, but he needs to be able to bring that to the basketball court, that jump shot. He doesn't have a routine. I go to a lot of Sixers games. He don't have no shooting routine like the scorers we do, the Steph Currys, the Kawhi Leonards, guys who score the basketball. Ben does not have a routine, and I know people are talking to him about it. Is he into the lifestyle and the benefits of the lifestyle compared to being an evolved player? And that's the question. What's going to be his attitude moving forward? To me, it don't matter. If he don't develop no jump shot, it ain't going to matter to me. I don't want to be writing this. I just like to see the best develop so that we can see the best out of their athletic ability.
Maybe LeBron sits down and talks to him. Maybe he would respect him. I don't know. I kind of like Baby King. Then I can say it again.
Baby King.
Baby
You
King.
just made that up.
I know. It was cute.
Baby.
Coming up, are the Lakers about to be the second favorite team in L.A.? That's next.
If he is a
on First
baby
Things
king,
First.
that means he's a prince. Right?
Baby King.
Young
get it?
Prince. I get it.
Yeah.
I